it says in Sota that they quoted from Mishnah. You'll like this halacha. This is something that I realized sitting in base matters with others, with Sfardim, who talk about Ashkenazic halachic practices monolithic. They say for a Sfardi this is mutter, for an Ashkenazic guy this is usher. Because all the post-gay Ashkenazim have always felt that X, Y, and Z is usher. And I told them, I never grew up in yeshiva being told that we're Ashkenazim and something is usher for us. I always heard about a variety of opinions in halachic. Ashir was, there's a lot of opinions there. I don't have to be stringent for all that. That was a Mishnah Berurah shir. But Rabbanim, I never got this idea. I never heard Rabbi Grossman say anything like that. It's like we're all Ashkenazic and monolithic. The way that the Sfardim act like this. It's like we used to talk about Sfardim in yeshiva as though they're like something we don't know personally. Yeah. So it says here, Yirat Hashem b'niv hamelech, v'im shonim al titarav. The pasuk says, "My son, fear God and the king." Fear God and the king. You have to have Yiras Shamayim and Yiras Melech, and with the shonim al titarav. Those who are shonim, what are the shoneh? The shonim are the people who are trying to change things. Don't get involved with the upstarts, the rebels, perhaps people who are trying to change the status quo. Okay, so that's a Mishnah. What is he referring to? Usually Mishnah, it's not talking about politics. It's like, make sure you're on the right side. Stay with the religious establishment and the political establishment, and don't be with the political people trying to change things. That's what it would mean, literally. But Mishnah is usually, what are most Mishalim for? Torah study. How to relate to one's Torah study. By and large, that's the Nimshal. Okay? The Mashal is politics or something like that. The Nimshal is usually Torah study or ethics. Okay? That's Mishnah. You want to go through Mishnah one day? We should do that. Yeah. I don't know. It's not part of the yeshiva curriculum like Mishnah for some reason. But okay. It says, Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, Elu Sheshonim Halachot. Okay? It means, in this case, not political dissonance, but those who are Shoneh Halachos. Okay, they repeat Mishnayos. Halacha is Mishnayos. Shoneh Halachos is reciters of Mishnayos. Ma'odetema, Shonim B'chet. Wait, it's saying that they're saying them out. Somehow they're doing something wrong and they're reciting these Mishnayos. Rav Huna, the Amar Rav Huna, Kevat Avar Adam Avera Mishanaba. He's repeating this. He's repeating the Avera. It becomes like a heter for him. Okay. Hutralo. It's as though it became heter for him. Kamash Milan. Tana Tanoim Mivali Olam. Okay, I think that might have been a mistake here. Okay, it means that no, he's talking about the way that people repeat Mishnayos. Okay, they're Mivali Olam. They're wearing out the world. The bilui is basically wear out your clothes. Okay, Soka Daitoch Amar Ravina Shemor Nalacha Bitoch Mishnatan. Here's what's the problem with these people. They just say the halacha is exactly like the Mishnah. They know what it says in the halachic code, and they tell people just exactly as it says. Like it happened tonight. The fast is over. The Luach says the fast is over at 8:20, and that's it. That's what the Luach says. I don't ask questions. How many people have you bet like that? They just say, Rabbi Avi Grossman said it's usher. End of story. Don't try to tell me your other opinions and arguments and bring a Mishnah and bring me even a Shulchan Aruch. All right, challenge accepted. What am I supposed to do? So he says here, Tanya Milachi Amar Bishua. Wait a minute, what's so bad about that? They know their halachas. They're the ones who are settling the world. They're not wearing out the world. They're helping society. They teach the halacha mitoch mishnatan. What does that mean? Rashi, read what Rashi says. Okay. They don't understand what's behind the Mishnah. They just say the Mishnah says this, that. Once again, the Mishnah before Talmud times, word halachas, reciting Mishnayos. But they don't know what they're saying. They just say the Mishnah says that, that's it. I don't know what's behind the Mishnah. I don't know how to analyze the Mishnah. I don't know how to explain the Mishnah. I just say what the Mishnah says. Ha'amim gormim shemidamin lahen davar sheno domeh. They're imagining or they're explaining it, thing that's not the right way. They're getting it wrong. Okay? I'll give you an example because I saw the guy who said this. He said that the Avera is, he felt, here's what happened. I told him, the Vilna Gaon says that yarmulke is not a chova. You don't have to wear a yarmulke. Okay? You don't have to wear a yarmulke. The Vilna Gaon says, klal de milsa, right? It's a midas chasidus that we wear a yarmulke. Not even for a bracha. The Vilna Gaon says it's proper during davening. You never have to wear a yarmulke. You don't have. There's no halacha. It was a midas chasidus that you shouldn't go walking 4 amos without a yarmulke. But there's no such halacha. There's no requirement. Not even during davening. It's proper during davening to have your hair covered, and when you're studying Torah, and if you are a pious person and you are close to God, you stand before Him always. That's where you wear yarmulke. That's the halacha. Some people say no, you're not allowed to walk. Shulchan Aruch mentions the midas chasidus. Now you're not allowed to walk without a yarmulke. You're not allowed to say a bracha without a yarmulke. The Vilna Gaon points out that's nonsense. That's not halacha. People just read it. It says wear a yarmulke. Now we have to, right? So I told this guy this one. So he was upset. No, we have to tell everybody you have to wear yarmulke. Chova, chova, chova. Not only that, it says that a kohen is asur befera rosh. Fera rosh means having your head exposed. For a kohen, there's an issur doraisa to have his head exposed. And except what does pera rosh mean in that case? It means growing his hair long. Remember, 30 days growth. It didn't when there's issur doraisa kohen. So machlokas rishonim, even if the kohen's off duty, or only when he's on duty in the temple, his week to serve. That means the other 6 months of the year he could grow his hair long. And when he goes to the temple, he should get a haircut before he serves. So he was like that. He said it, it says it. A kohen is asur fera rosh. So that was a mistake. He acknowledged the mistake eventually. But that's the type of people it says it. It says in the straight halacha book. Okay? The od yesh mishnayos harbe, Rashi says. There are many mishnayos damrinun ha mani plonihu. Sometimes we analyze the Mishnah and say, yeah, but that's a das yochid. There's a different Mishnah and different Maseches which contradicts it. Best example, when you're learning, what do you learn first as a kid? Zroim and Zmanim. And Zroim is hard except for brachos because it talks about agriculture. So most kids learn Zmanim first, right? What does Zmanim have? Shabbos, Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah begin. There's 4 Rosh Hashanahs. When is Rosh Hashanah for Meiser Behema? Elul. That's a Stam Mishnah in Rosh Hashanah. Rambam points out, yeah, but Meiser Behema is from Tishrei. There's only 3 halachic Rosh Hashanahs. We don't hold of that Manda Amar. In Bechoros, we have actually a machlokes. We hold that says Meiser Behema, the Rosh Hashanah is also Tishrei, just like Shmitim and Yovelos. So if you'd only read that Mishnah in Rosh Hashanah, you'd be wrong, even though it's Stam Mishnah. Or you'd be Shmuley Yankowitz, who said not only is it halacha, it's when you celebrate animals and we don't kill the animals. It's Rosh Hashanah before Behemas. Yeah, terrible guy. Okay, so what did he say? It says here, Rashi says, the Yechidayihu, it's a das yachid. Just because you know the Mishnah doesn't mean that's the halacha. The less hilchasa kavasei, halacha doesn't follow that opinion. The od shenon yodim machlokas tanaim arishonim halacha kedivrei mi hilchach morin horos tos. In the Mishnaic times, just reciting a Mishnah without understanding what you're saying and knowing what's behind it and how to analyze it was dangerous because you're actually getting halacha wrong. Lama davar doma today. If you are going to teach a halacha, but you don't know the source of the halacha, you don't know how to analyze the halacha, you don't know what's behind the halacha, you might very well be giving over that halacha wrong. And by the way, I'm not immune to this thing. You should call someone out. Some people just open up. I don't care what it says. I have a psak halacha book. I follow the kitzur. I follow just this code. I don't know why it says that. It's like the guy who told me, "Are you a mechanic?" It says in his luach that he's to announce when the bulat is every Shabbos. Told him that's minhag tos. Recently new minhag, but it's really not minhag Sfard. There's a lot of reasons the Shulchan Aruch himself would tell you not to do such a minhag. The Shulchan Aruch just didn't tell you not to do it because the Shulchan Aruch never imagined you would. The minhag was created 400 years after he passed away. So it doesn't fit with the Shulchan Aruch. I don't want to be told. He says, "Are you a mechanic?" Remember this Machon? Told him, "I'm not a mechanic." Why? He's like, "But you drive a car." I'm like, "Yeah." So I'm not a mechanic. I drive a car also. I don't know what goes on under the hood. So too, it tells me to do this. I do what it says. I don't ask questions. So for some people that works.
Yeah, it works better.
It works. It allows you to conform.
No, but it also works. I mean, seriously, how many of these people are actually capable of doing anything like this?
No, I know.
How many Rabbanim are able to do?
Yeah, so there's a problem. A lot of that which is said is just recited over. Oh, there's questions coming in.
No, I agree that people have to think about it.
Yeah.
I'm not about to say, just let everybody decide from this stuff. Rabbi Need is very against that idea.
Yeah.
By the way. He's very against it. That was the one thing that bothered him the most about that Shabbat.
That people decide their own halachas. Shouldn't have anybody decide halacha. What we're talking about now is people who open up the book and just recite it, but don't understand it. Yes, deciding halacha on your own is bad also, especially if you're not studying.
Right, but I'm saying
Yeah.
there's not really much of a better alternative yet. The
Yes.
best thing we can do is have those people learn how to learn.
Yes,
We can't do anything else.
I know, but I'm talking about in the base medrash. My criticism is in the base medrash that there's sometimes certain halachic issues where instead of actually learning the sugya, we skip over the sugya, we don't learn it, and we open up a book, the luach, and say, "Oh, that's it." Luach says the fast is over at 8:20. I don't know any questions. I don't know why that is such, but the luach says so, and that's it. That's a problem. If you go and say, "I'll just follow the luach," that's fine. But if you're morin shown in halachas and morin halachas, you tell everybody, I'm in charge. The luach says the fast is over at 8:20, and you ask him, "Yeah, but is that what the Talmud says? Why are you saying it's 8:20?" Well, the luach said. The halacha, the Kitzer halacha book says the fast is over at 8:20 p.m. and that's it. I don't know why. That's what everybody says. That's what they're criticizing here in the Gemara. If you're going to recite halacha and tell everybody halacha is you have to burn your chametz by 9:30 a.m. You're telling everybody that you have to burn your chametz by 9:30 because it says in the luach. You have to make sure to blow those 100 blasts on Rosh Hashanah because that's what it says in the machzor. You ask him, why? How do you know that? Is there a Gemara about this? What does the Talmud say?
If you know to ask that. If you know to know otherwise.
Yeah.
How many people do
I know, that's the problem.
People know how to do it because they watch the Rumble video.
It's a problem. You shouldn't pasken on YouTube videos either. We want people to sit in the base medrash and actually open up, some of these, start learning it. That's like, no, whatever, it doesn't really matter. I think that you should be suspicious of a halacha shir. If all they told you is, we don't go on the Temple Mount, we heard this recently. Rav Mufak says, all the Rabbanim say it's usher, it's usher, it's usher, it's usher, that's it. Fine, that's not a halacha shir. A halacha shir should start with, first, the biblical verses, how Chazal interpreted those biblical verses, what Unkelus said is the verses mean, how that's interpreted in the Mishnah and the Talmud, how the Rishonim understood it. That's a halacha shir. That explains it. You can even say that. You can come to the valid conclusion. But just say it's usher, and everybody says it's usher, and I don't want to hear about it. And I don't know what's behind it. Stop asking questions. That's bad.
That's not a halacha shir. That belongs in the Musar.
No, that's Paskening by Pashkevilim. There's another principle here. It says Sota Mem Zayin, Mishrabu Zechuchi Alev. This is also in the Tosefta. Rabu Machlokes B'Yisrael. Zechuchi Alev is like arrogant types of people. For people not studying enough, they're relying too much on themselves. That's why you got bigger machlokases in Israel. Mishrabu Tomidei Shammai v'Hillel Shelo Shimshu Kol Tzarchon. How many machlokas in Shammai and Hillel themselves actually have?
Like a hand.
3, I think.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's not a lot. Shammai and Hillel disagreed about smicha, by the way, also. So there are too many Talmidim who were not mishamesh enough. What does mishamesh mean in Talmudic times? It meant they know how to recite the Mishnayos, but they didn't know the analysis. They didn't know the practical application thereof. They didn't watch enough how the rabbis actually understood this. That's when machlokasim started. That's why I have so many machlokases Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel. Menasse's Torah kishtei soros, like I'm experiencing here in Israel. They talk about Ashkenazim and Sephardim have 2 different Torahs. Why did that come about? Because people aren't studying enough. If people would study enough more objectively, listen to each other, and understand what's behind what they're saying, then there wouldn't be machlokas anymore and say, "Oh, we're like Beis Shammai, we're like Beis Hillel, we'll stick to our way, you stick to your way. Yes, we'll tolerate you." But
they're based on the hundreds of thousands of years of tradition that we can't change.
Yeah, that's a problem. But Chazal just pointed out, if you have people studying better, doing more shimush, which means understanding what's underlying what's being said, it's just that would be a higher standard.
We would like to encourage our viewers to share these videos with friends and send in your responses. If you would like to obtain Birkon Nusach Eretz Yisrael or invite the rabbi for a speaking engagement, please email us at office@machonshilo.org.